We highly recommend that each athlete have his form analyzed through video analyzation. You need two views, one from the front and one from the side. Shown here is the world's fastest big man, Stefan Fernholm. He is 6'1½", 270 pounds, and runs a 4.2540.
Stefan does have very good form. If you'll start from the head and go down, you'll notice that the head is in a great position. It's steady and it's straight ahead, just like you want your athletes to run. The shoulders have a good vigorous motion, front and back. The elbows look to be in a really good angle. It's hard to tell from this position though. He is in an upright position. Back is arched, which is where you want to be. The leg lift is really good. You have to have proper leg lift to give you an efficient foot plant there. And you notice his feet are in a straight angle. They're not deviating to the right or left, which is where you want to be. As a whole, this running stride looks really good, Stefan. As you can see from this lateral position, Stefan is completely relaxed, particularly in the shoulder area. His head is upright, but pay particular attention to where his right or his front foot places on the ground. It is directly under the hip, which is where you want to plant your foreleg. In conclusion, to summarize our bigger, faster, stronger sprint technique system, we need to know the following. The head should be upright. The eyes should be fixed, looking straight ahead. The back should be upright and slightly arched. The shoulders should rotate vigorously with the elbows fixed in a 90-degree angle. The wrists should simulate a whip action as the shoulder rotates back. The initial leg action is to lift forward, not up. The lower leg should hang before planting. The feet should make the initial plant directly under the hips and not out in front of the body. On the follow-through or end of the leg drive, the knees should fully extend. If you follow these points closely, then you can definitely improve your speed.
How many times a week should you work on your speed?
I say you should work on it twice a week.
And then about how long of a period?
Well, I would say 30 to 40 minutes should be plenty.
All right, now, if I want to improve my speed, should I be working on, I mean, is it all right to run a couple miles, or should I be more specific and run 10-yard, 20, 40-yard sprints? What is best for speed development?
Well, it's it kind of depends on what position you're playing, but a general rule here would be, running maybe 20-yarders up to 60-yarders for most football players, and run maybe a total of anywhere from 200 to 300 yards total. When I split up, that could be like 520s and 540s and so on, depending on what you want to concentrate on.
Now, we also believe that Bigger, Faster, Stronger is very important for a coach to time his athletes twice a month. And the reason we're saying this, to time them so often, is because that player, that athlete, needs to have positive feedback. He needs to know that all the hard work he's doing on his squats, on his clean, on his straight leg deadlifts, the everyday flexibility routine that he's going through, his visual analyzation through watching a video of him, his technique work, his form running, his actual speed work that he's doing twice a week, that these are actually paying big dividends. And if we just wait and time a guy once a year, we really don't have the opportunity that we have to work on positive feedback. And I think he'll improve his 40 and his speed if we do it on a continual basis twice a month. To summarize our speed video, I would like to go over the 6 speed improvement guidelines that we have. First, you must absolutely master the 7-point BFS sprint technique system. Second, you need to improve your horsepower by doing parallel squats, straight leg deadlifts, and cleans. Third, it is absolutely essential that you do flexibility training every day. We suggest the Bigger, Faster, Stronger 1, 2, 3, 4 flexibility system. Fourth, it is important to analyze each athlete on video to improve the sprint technique. Fifth, 2 30-minute workouts on your sprinting are required per week. And sixth, we suggest strongly that athletes be timed 2 times per month, and these efforts recorded and put on a motivational chart.
He also bunts the football, this time to the 18-yard line. Guidry gets back past the 30. Guidry, look at this! Oh! Guidry is finally run down from behind at the...
Let's see that run again. It's a Pac-10 game. UCLA's got the ball. Their back has got it. He's going. Eluded a tackle. Number 28, though, at the bottom of your screen, Kevin Devine. He's on the trail. He's 5 yards. Now 4 yards. Now 3 yards. He's catching him. UCLA turns. Is Kevin going to get him? He gets bumped. No way. There he goes. He's ahead of him now. He's ahead of him. Is he going to get him? Yes. Who said speed doesn't kill? Kevin Devine, NFL's fastest player. This is Kevin at the NFL Combine, the actual footage. Here he's establishing himself as the NFL's fastest player. Let's look at it again in slow motion. Look at the start. Look at that arm. He's pumping his arms hard. Arms at a right angle. Eyes straight ahead. High leg lift. High knees. Analyze this video carefully, and you'll knock tenths of a second off your 40. What I'd like to ask you about is the start. When you start, do you go from a running back stance? Isn't that the best way to start if you're going to get timed and money's on the line?
No, that's not the best way to start.
How do you start?
The best way to start is similar to a sprinter stance. When we're talking about a 40 time, you want your legs close together. You want your feet not too far apart, about 4 inches from the line. You want to crowd
The lead leg would be 4 inches from the line.
Right.
And what about the back leg?
The back leg is it varies. It depends on your height and how comfortable you are. You want your back leg to have the balls of your foot digging deeply into the ground.
I notice you have a pretty cramped.
Yeah.
So even that feels kind of uncomfortable, doesn't it?
Yeah, and that's exactly what you want. Just like a snake, you want to coil up so that you can strike out.
Wow, I like that. Like a cobra.
Yeah.
Or a rattlesnake. Just go, yeah, okay. So you're coiled up, and then when you come up into on your mark, set, do you lift your head up and look down the track?
No.
Why not?
No. For 2 reasons. One reason is that causes you to pop up right away.
Okay.
Instead of digging going down the track. And number 2.
You can't think right now?
No, I can't think.
Well, it tightens you up.
Yeah, it tightens you up.
It would tighten you up, right? Because you have your head up, you're tightened up.
Right.
So, like in the movies, a lot of time, what they'll do when they're taking a picture, an advertisement picture of a sprinter, the cameraman will want to have the head looking right at the camera, but that tightens you up so you can have your head. So kids actually copy that.
Well,
that's not
that's
right.
good for the movies.
That's good for
the movies, but not in real life.
Okay. Now I noticed one thing, that you don't have both hands down like a sprinter.
No.
You only have one hand down, and that's a modified stance. What benefit do you get out of that hand that's going up? So I noticed that hand is way above the hips. Why is it that way?
So that you can punch out. That first lead arm has to almost throw you out of that stance, and a sprint that short, every second counts. I mean, every millisecond counts. So the hand wants to be in the position of a running position, so that bam, you're right into your mode.
Okay, now it's on your mark, set. What do you do on now? When you're timed for a 40, no one says get on your mark, set.
Right.
But do you run that through your mind? But on a command set, usually a sprinter would raise the hips up and lean forward, and get a big body lean forward. What goes through your mind, and what do you want to try to do at the very first part of the explosion out of that, when you're coiling out of that and doing your snake thing out of that?
Well, the first thing I do is, like you said, you get your good body lean. You want to feel coiled up so that when you explode out there, you go. First thing I do is I concentrate on my first 3 steps, and that's all power. I keep my head down, usually looking where I want my first step to be. And you just want to power those first 3 steps out.
What do you do with that off arm? I mean, is that where you get a lot of this coil we're talking about, that arm that's up above your hips? You really try to punch that out.
Yeah, most definitely, because that's going to bring that first leg through. And what that's going to do is going to perpetuate for your off leg to come through again. So as soon as that arm shoots through, it's going to force everything into motion.
All right, let's take a look, analyze your form. When you're running, like, say, straight at the camera, and we're looking at you straight on, let's take a look. What should your eyes be doing?
Your eyes should be focused on your target, exactly where you're going. If you're going straight ahead, you should be looking straight ahead where you're going.
And what about the chin? Should the chin move side to side or keep it straight?
You want to be relaxed, but you don't want any wasted movements.
Tell me about the shoulders.
Shoulders you want down and loose.
And what about the arm angle?
You want your arms going north and south with your elbows coming up at 90, and you can slightly loosen it up on the way back, but mostly at a 90 degree.
Mostly at a 90-degree angle. Now tell me about, there's different ways to do your hands, but do you want to clench them in a fist?
No.
Because what would that do?
That's tighten you up.
Tighten you up. And so tell me what you do.
It varies for individual people. As everyone knows, Carl Lewis kind of runs with his like this. Whatever works for you that keeps you comfortable and relaxed. I usually keep my hands like this, really thumb to my pointing finger.
Okay. And now are you straight up and down, or do you have a forward lean mostly throughout the 40-yard dash?
Throughout the 40-yard dash, you should have a forward lean throughout the most of it.
Now tell me about your leg lift.
For me, that's very important. That's one thing I pride myself on is my knee drive. That's my whole key, because if you can get your knees up, then you can extend out further.
All right. Now when you bring your knee up, what does your toe do? Is your toe raised up or is it dropped down?
No, it's raised up.
And what would be the purpose of that? Is it the foot plant?
Yes, most definitely, because you want to come down on the balls of your feet so that you can continue to explode down the track.
All right. Now tell me, do you want to run on your toes, or do you actually put your foot right underneath you, right on the ground? How do you do it?
Not so much your toes, but the balls of your feet. You don't want to be running flat-footed at all.
So you don't want to be up on your toes, and you don't want to be running on your heels, but on the ball part of your foot. Okay. Now tell me about the backward extension of the back leg when you're running. You get drive off that? Is that where you're from your toes, or do you do anything on that? Is there anything special to?
Not so much. Everything is going forward. So your backward extension is really just your forward extension, really. You know, how far out you power that front leg is how far it's going to seem your back extension is.
All right, now let's take a look at you from your side. When we're looking at from the side, your eyes are straight. You got a little forward lean. You've got your elbows and arms at a right angle. High knee and the foot plant coming down hard.
Let's watch this again in slow motion. Very carefully. I won't say a word. Kevin Devine, the NFL's fastest player.
A few years ago, just before the Soviet Union broke up, Dr. Ben Tabochnik defected to the United States. He spent 8 days in my home, and I asked Dr. Tabochnik, who was the Soviet sprint coach, what were some of the exciting innovations that he developed in the Soviet Union. He said the #1 innovation was the parachute style running. In a Bigger, Faster, Stronger, we make the largest parachute made, and it's also adjustable, so you can create greater stress or less stress. All right, let's watch it. Our BFS chute is entirely adjustable, which means if you want more resistance, you can take this apparatus and pull it forward towards the runner, and that makes more resistance. If you want less resistance, then you bring this back all the way back to the base if you want. The belt is attached by a Velcro strip, so when you want to let it go, all you do is just jerk on it,
and it falls right off, and you get that explosive movement forward.